this decision, choosing Tim Walz, she has proven just how dangerously liberal she is. Tim Walz is one of the most far-left governors in America. Much like Kamala Harris, he supports wide-open borders. He supports sanctuary cities. In Minnesota, he signed a bill giving licenses to illegal immigrants. Tim Walz, like Kamala Harris, is soft on crime. He also supports the defund the police movement. In fact, in Minnesota, violent crime has increased by 21% since he has been governor. And like Kamala Harris, Tim Walz is anti-American energy. He signed a bill to ban carbon-based fuels in Minnesota by 2040. That is a threat to our national security. That is a gift to China. If Americans want to know what a Harris-Walz America would look like, look at the streets of Minneapolis in the summer of 2020 when they were literally burned to the ground. Look at the streets of San Francisco. Their liberal utopia is every American's worst nightmare, and we'll spend the next 92 days ensuring every American knows how radical the Harris-Walz ticket is.
Now, I just woke up to the news myself. I ain't never heard of no Tim Waltz at all. I just woke up to seeing tweets from the window to the Waltz. That's all I kept seeing. And I'm over here like, oh, I don't know anything about this guy. But he's the governor, was the governor of Minnesota. And of course, when you're running in the presidential campaign, yo pass, oh, it gets dug up. Yeah, and this guy's everything that woman just said he was, at least the impression that I'm getting, first impression, you know. But aside from all that, let's just hear from his mouth. You know, he supports people like Kamala Harris, DEI hires. If she does win the presidency, she would be a DEI president, because she couldn't have did this by her own. Like, she couldn't have been a candidate by herself a year ago. But anyhow, this is Tim Waltz. Tim Walz. Waltz. Ain't no T in it. I'm adding a T to it. Anyhow, he feels like DEI is necessary for a society to function.
A society that does not put equity and inclusion at the center of it is certainly going to eventually come to the places where we're at. This is a moment of inflection. It's a moment of real change. It's a moment that those folks who are out there demanding this are not going to take a commission or a report. They're going to want fundamental change. And that is what I think, that's one of the exciting things in the midst of all this. You can feel a sense of optimism coming back.
I can feel a sense of destruction on its way. I don't know about that. You say the diversity, DEI is basically necessary or everything is going to crumble. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is definitely a leftist right here for sure. That is definitely some leftist mindset crap right there. Let's read some of these comments. The BLM riot team of 2020 is together again. Kamala egged it, and we can't say the word. She, egged it, and on Tim Waltz sat by it. Wait, hold on. Let me start this comment over because I completely fumbled the play trying to. Anyhow, the BLM riot team of 2020 is together again. Kamala Harris egged it on, and Tim Walz sat by and let Minneapolis burn. Timbo Walz quit the National Guard to avoid being deployed to Iraq. Oh, so he's a coward. That let me know that's some coward behavior right there. I mean, it's okay to be afraid, but you gotta have some courage if you're gonna be on the National Guard. He let his unit down on the verge of deployment 2 years before his enlistment ended. He is a coward. He is a communist too. Just like Kamala, Trump is a stalwart of the U.S. Constitution of freedom. Yeah, Tim Walz sounds just as radical as Kamala. You want the most leftist administration ever? Then definitely go for Harris right now, because that's the way it's looking. Anyhow, moving on. Trump has already put Trump's team, at least, has already put out an ad, a great ad. And it's to slam and crack down on radical leftism or leftist radicalism. I think that's the best way to put it. Y'all, look, I just woke up. First video of the day. I got a load.
What could be weirder than signing a bill into law that requires schools to stock tampons in boys' bathrooms? Or weirder than signing legislation allowing minors to receive sex change operations? Try electing the man who signed those bills Vice President of the United States. Enter Chief Weirdo Tim Walz. As governor of Minnesota, Walz supported legislation that endangers minors, hurts women, and puts radical ideology ahead of common sense. Now Kamala wants Walz to enforce those laws on a national scale. Tim Walz, too weird, too radical.
At some point, it just becomes like, hey guys, once you grow up, once you get a little common sense, you will realize that regardless of how you view Trump socially or how he responds to certain things and you just don't like his demeanor and attitude, okay, I get it. The more you realize, like, okay, that's one aspect of it, and I don't like his personality and all, but when I grow up, I realize, like, yeah, man, he's fighting evil right now. This is a battle between good and evil. I don't know much about Waltz until Walz, however you say this man's name, until today, but hearing him speak himself and say what he said, yeah, man, this guy also let Minneapolis burn.
Fires rage again overnight in Minneapolis. Protesters are angry over the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man following an incident with officers. A police station was torched during the unrest. Hello again, I'm Lynn Bowie. More than 500 National Guard soldiers are now activated to help local police. Residents demand the police officers involved in the incident be arrested. Nicole Killian reports for WJZ on this escalating violence.
State police officers in riot gear backed by the National Guard moved in to secure the streets of Minneapolis as fires continued to burn in the morning hours. Last night, protesters set fire to the police station where the 4 officers involved in the arrest of George Floyd worked before they were fired. The mayor of Minneapolis ordered the building evacuated and defended his decision to let it burn.
The symbolism of a building cannot outweigh the importance of life, of our officers, or the public. We could not risk serious injury to anyone.
It was one of many fires set in the city, including this building that partially collapsed.
Holy cow.
There has also been widespread looting. Corboy Vala had to fend off looters who tried to steal the safe from his sports bar.
It's not fair, it's not right. You know, we've been working so hard for this place. No, this is not just for me.
That don't make no sense, man. That makes no sense. This is what Tim Waltz and Kamala Harris will bring to all of America. They're showing you right in your face, right? I mean, come on, dog. History tends to repeat itself, okay? And these people are showing you exactly who they are. I don't know much about this guy other than what I'm getting off the internet today. And one of the things that I wanted to center on was actually hearing him speak, hearing him talk versus just somebody telling me how, you know, to conclude him. So hearing him speak and him say certain things, I'm over here like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this guy. I don't like this guy. I'm gonna keep it real. Not just because he with Kamala Harris. That's partially because, you know, anybody who was with her, but not just because of that, but because of what he said out of his own mouth. You know what I mean? And also what he's doing in the city. While Tim Waltz was governor in Minneapolis, BLM rioters destroyed Minneapolis, as you guys seen. They destroyed downtown in the video that we just seen. But what you don't know is Kamala Harris promoted a GoFundMe for the rioters. Let's go ahead and look at the aftermath.
This is the aftermath of violence. This is the aftermath of wreckage. This is the aftermath of pain. This, all around me. This. Liquor store, gone. Pawn store, down there, gone. AutoZone, burned to the ground. This police station that is supposed to keep people safe can now no longer keep the community safe. Now the community no longer has any protection. And for what? What is the point of all of this wreckage? What is the point of all of this hurt and all of this pain? I was just talking to somebody that's local to this neighborhood, and she told me that now she doesn't have a grocery store, and now they don't have an auto parts store, and now they don't have a liquor store, and they don't have a pawn shop, and they don't have so many small businesses that put their blood, sweat, and tears and their entire livelihoods into building up. They put so much time and energy and money and resources into this neighborhood to build it up for years, possibly a decade, to build it up. so that it can all be destroyed over the course of 3 or 4 nights. For what? It's not for justice. It's not for black lives, because you're destroying more black lives with all of this destruction than you're helping by protesting. You want to make this about black lives? You want to talk about black lives? Think about all of the people who sacrificed their black lives to build up their dreams here. Think about all the black lives that live in this neighborhood that now don't have a grocery store to go to, that now don't have a Target to go to, that now don't have a gym to go to, that now don't have anywhere to work out, that now don't have anything. Think about those black lives the next time you go out destroying, the next time you go out looting, the next time you react in violence against injustice. I understand injustice, I understand hurt, I understand violence, and I understand pain, but this is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way.
Makes no sense, man. Makes no sense, man. But I got to give a huge shout out to Rob Smith right here, man, for going out there and doing the work for us and giving us the information that we need in order for us to make our decisions. And speaking of that, this guy right here, Waltz, made a decision to actually get up on here and use the same leftist talking points against Donald Trump, man.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are. So it isn't much else. Don't give them the power. Look, are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes. They're going to do all that. But don't lift these guys up like they're sometimes the heroes. Everybody in this room knows, I know it as a teacher, a bully has no self-confidence. A bully has no strength. They have nothing. The fascists depend on fear. The fascists depend on us going back. But we're not afraid of weird people. We're a little bit creeped out, but we're not afraid. But look, and then as you heard this, and one day ago, a poll came out and showed Kamala Harris up 10 points and Donald Trump getting his ass handed to him here in Minnesota. So, sorry. But he's here today in the state of hockey to complete his trifecta. He lost in 16, he lost in 20, he loses in 24.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
What I will say is, I don't think that this man should have or be next to the person who has access to the nuclear codes, okay? Not somebody who's emotional in this sense. Because while the BLM rioters were looting and destroying the city that, you know, he was in charge of, he was actually proud. He said he was proud of Minnesota's response to the George Floyd riots when he was asked in 2022. This guy is pretty insane.
At the time, the murder of George Floyd shocked not just Minnesota nor the nation, it shocked the world. And the civil unrest that ensued from that was probably some of the greatest that we've seen both in this nation and globally. And that operation involving dozens of local, county, and then the state, involving multiple states in the region, and involving the federal government, had to be assembled, had to be coordinated, and had to make sure that we brought order back. I'll be the first to tell you, that's terrifying for Minnesotans in those days. Nothing like this had been seen before at the level of violence after the murder of George Floyd. I think, again, there'll be stories written, and this will be written about for quite some time. I'm proud of Minnesota's response. I'm proud of Minnesota's first decision.
And just going down my timeline right here, y'all, we have, it says, dangerously liberal Tim Walz and Kamala Harris both oppose fracking. This was Tim Walz. This was 2019 policies tab. I guess this was on his page. I'm not sure. They didn't give me the source of the site, but it says Tim Walz's policy on fracking. These issues below are sorted in descending order based on how important the average American voter ranked them on the quiz. Do you support the use of hydraulic fracking to extract oil and natural gas resources? And the answer right there says no. Ouch! Somebody says Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are the most extreme ticket in recent presidential history. They want to decriminalize illegal immigration and and private health insurance, reduce sentences for violent criminals, and make your energy bills more expensive. For sure. We even got a Minnesota voter on Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walz. Let's check what he has to say real quick.
He used to be what I'd call a middle of the road Democrat. Now he's a straight up socialist.
Ouch. That boy said, you ain't you no more, man. You ain't you no more. I see this thank you right here from Donald Trump. I don't know if that was in reference.
Right. Why?
Right here, this is just a 1 minute ad. I don't think we're gonna go through this ad right here, but yeah, I'm just making sure I scour the internet before we go. It says Tim prioritized the filling of CNN's Van Jones and billionaire Jay-Z during the Minneapolis riots over the small business owners whose stores were ransacked. Absolutely disqualifying.
On it, and I'd been taking calls, and I said yes. He called, and as I said again, it's kind of a strange amongst all of this, but it was so incredibly human. It wasn't Jay-Z, international, celebrity and well known. It was a dad, and I think quite honestly a black man whose visceral pain of this that he knew. His words to me, and I want to be the confidential, but to summarize what it was is justice needs to be served here. Justice needs to be served, and I'm grateful that he said he's been watching this on TV, and he said he feels the compassion and the humanity of these folks who are speaking in a very difficult environment at the heart of.
What about the businesses? What about the business owners? What about the workers?
All of these elected officials who are here, and he knows that the world is watching. How Minnesota handles this is going to have an impact across the country, and I think that's what his expressions were. And he was passionate, he was gracious, he was grateful. But
yeah, okay, yeah. So this was my introduction into Tim Walz, the new VP candidate alongside Kamala Harris. I don't know about y'all, but America, please do some homework.